Hello, it's Nicholas from TMR Now. I'm here to take you through a beginner sequence for those of you who are new to Pilates and might be finding the other videos on the platform a little complicated. I have a chi ball with me. You don't need one, but if you do have a soft ball that you can place under your lower back, this can help you understand the different positions in your pelvis. So it's half inflated, and I'm just going to lie down on my back with my legs bent and stick the ball under the low back, quite low, the very edge of my bottom. That's too low. Up a little higher, and just experiment, see where you are given mobility because of the curved surface of the ball. If you're on a spongy mat, you need the ball firmer. If you're on a hard floor, Bob's your uncle, a half inflated ball will do. We're going to start breathing, just thinking of breath in all directions, not being too serious. Take your inhale, take your exhale. As I breathe in, I'm letting my torso fill up sideways, front to back and diagonally. As I exhale, I'm letting it all out, getting rid of the air, so my body is kind of as sleek and as tight as it can be. 3 more times, breath in. I'm also thinking of sending the energy up and down through my spinal cord. Breathe out, get rid of the air. 2 more. And breathing out. Last one. And breathing out. And purposeful breathing is really important to resetting your well-being, and it's a tenet of the Pilates method. I want you to now think about your pelvis having a top being your waistline and a bottom being your pubic bone or the sitting bones underneath your pelvis. And what we're going to do is tilt comfortably and softly tilt the pelvic or sitting bones up as the waist tips down or slants downward, and then return to where you started. Now, we're all built differently, so talking about neutral or front or back positions is always relative. You don't have to strike or hit a particular position. Let's carry on with this. So just tilting, dropping the waist, lifting the pubic bone, so you have a downward slant at the waist. Come back to neutral, which is parallel. The pelvic bones are parallel to the ceiling and the floor. And we go again, tilt, pubic bone lifts, waist drops. And I'm not muscularizing or kind of forcing anything either. It should be very subtle and internal. The ball underneath me just facilitates some free movement. 2 more. And I'm tilting, pubis goes up, waist bones go down. We call them the ASIS, anterior superior iliac crest, which is the top of your Dumbo ears closest to your ribs. And now we're going the other way. This might not be as comfortable for some of you. Proceed with genteel caution. So inhale, you're going to actually reposition the ball if you need. You're going to roll your tailbone forward over the ball, so your low back is arched, and then bring it back into, again, that relative neutral position. On the inhale, slide your pelvis forward, so there's more space under the lower back. Exhale, back into neutral. And again for me, inhale, tilting forward. Exhale, bring it back. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, tilt forward. And exhale, return. A good pelvis is one that can move in many directions with comfort, and variability in the movements, so being able to go front, back, left, right, and circle, is your key to not being stuck in a posture and getting locked in a cycle of discomfort, dysfunction, or pain. Let's go left and right, and what I'm looking for here is that the right hip lowers and the left hip lifts without the legs doing too much. On the inhale, I'm going to drop my right hip toward the mat and lift my left hip up to the ceiling. I'll bring it back in. I'm trying to, other side, isolate this movement so as to not cloud it with my ribs or my legs. And I'm just allowing my lower back to get some love, some TLC. We're usually so locked and seated that we don't get these movements, and they're so important to your pelvic well-being and your low back care, especially as we get older, or especially for those of us who are really passionate about a particular activity or singular sport where there's a lot of repetition, still going just right to left and left to right. And as you're going laterally or side to side, you're also trying not to tilt excessively forwards or backwards. One more for me. Side to side. The last one in the series we'll do is actually a lateral action where you shift the top of the hip towards the bottom of the earlobe, like you're like you're steering a car, with that push-pull technique rather than the illegal crossing of the hands when you turn. So I'm pulling up my right hip towards my ear as my left hip goes towards my foot, and then I bring that back to center. While I'm doing this, I'm still hovering in that relative neutral position. So there's a little bit of space under my lower back, but I'm neither arched anteriorly or curved posteriorly. Right hip, right earlobe. Bring it back to center. Those sitting bones and those front hip bones are level. Left to earlobe, right sitting bone, right foot. And it's important to think about this not just from the top of the hip or pelvis or from the bottom, but it's a dual-sided action. So one comes up, one goes down, and you get that stretch through your lower back. Again, soft and gentle. Not trying to affect a massive noticeable position. And easy does it. These are the movements that your body will instinctively do when you're uncomfortable. You know, often when we're uncomfortable, we get up and we stretch. We probably should take more notice of that and include more movement variability all the time. But we're locked into these bloody sitting and driving postures and etc., etc. For those of you who love long walks or long runs or cycling bouts, get off your horse or horse riding and try some of these mid-activity. I'm just going to pull my left leg in and stretch my right leg out and just move my ankles around in some circles and then bring it in, switch it over, other side. And pause here. Couple of breaths. I just want you to note how you feel through your pelvis and low back. I certainly just feel a little bit freer, a little bit more comfortable. Okay, and turn over onto your side with your legs bent and your hands behind your head. So heading over for chest opener. For ease of shot, I'm putting my hands behind my head. You could also have, actually let's do this, one arm out in front and one behind the head. If you're someone whose neck aches when coming onto the side, pad up with a cushion or even the chi ball. I'm going to have my top arm out. Chest opener is that I lift my arm up and I hold it right here. Roll the rib cage and torso back. Your head and arm will follow. Hold there once you're at your most rotated rib range. Big breath in and rotate the ribs and spine, head and arm back. Close your arm in front. Now the reason why I've broken this down is because too often it becomes a janky arm exercise like this, when the reality is you want to go arm, rotate as a central trunk, and then the peripheral things like your head and arm follow. Let's do two more. Lift, central trunk rotates, return, close. One more. Twist, in and down. Other side. Arm out in front, same technique. Arm first, twist and look where you're going. Twist and down. Now, let's concentrate also on the bottom half of the body. As my trunk rotates back, my knees press down into the floor to avoid them coming up, and also to get more bang for your buck with the twist. This is supposed to be a rotation exercise and a light chest stretch. We're not trying to get the biggest pec stretch of your life, so you don't need to be jamming your arm back. Although if you do want to create more intensity, you can hold a weight. Just one more, please. And exhale to twist. Get rid of the air. Inhale back to your side. And let's go on to pelvic curl. So you don't need to do a lot of them, of the chest openers. Half a dozen will do. We just did 4 or 5. Simple pelvic curl. And then we'll add on an arm float. Now, I have slippery socks on. Well, I like the colour, so they're staying. With your pelvic curl, the position I'm in is probably the feet are too far away from my hips. So I'm just going to slide down the slippery mat. You're looking for kind of a stretched out hand between your sitting bone and your heel. And I might even wriggle forward a little bit. And the arms are somewhere comfortable. Now, can I reach here? For me, that's actually pushing back into something, and that might be the same for you, or having your arms rested beside you. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis toward your face, roll up, roll as high as you can with the ribs being low and the pelvis being higher, so that you're creating a ramp or scoop shape. Let's look at 5 more. On the exhale, tilt under. Keep ascending, rolling up through the body. Big breath in to hold. Exhale, roll down. I'm not going up higher than what I'm doing now because my body is a little bit clunky to doing a lot of exercise at the weekend. But if you can go higher in the hips without lifting the ribs up off the floor, you go for it. Exhale, roll down. So it's exhale to move. 2 more. Exhale, rotate the pelvis up. Aeroplane is taking off. We roll up. Inhale here. Exhale, move, roll down. Looking to move in segments, not in a block. Last time, we're adding on. Exhale, rolling up. Inhale at the top. Lift your arms overhead. Exhale, press them down. 5 more times. Inhale, toes down, arms lift. Exhale, arms return. Neck is long. Inhale, feet are strong. Exhale, arms down. That's 3. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Collarbone is wide. Shoulders might lift up to your ears a little bit, and that's okay. Couple more. Last one, full breath in. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, lower. Alrighty. Roll off onto your side. And just come up for a little minute. 2 breaths. Sometimes it's good to move around a little bit. And now we go into our abdominal section. I am going to get the chi ball behind my neck for a minute. We'll be here for a little while, so make sure you're comfortable using a ball for your neck or a pillow or a blanket. If you're uncomfortable lying on your back for your own reasons, you might want to skip this segment. If you're someone who is uncomfortable on the head and neck during the curl-ups, go to the part of the TMR Now platform that has the head and neck strengthening refresher program. Do that instead. Integrate that head and neck into your movement, and then come back at a later date and try this. I've got the ball under my head just for support, and I'm going to start with an exercise called leg float, and it is just the pelvis stays weighted I'm holding onto my hips for demonstration, but you can have them down. If they're down, press down into the floor. Try not to just be coffin-armed like this. So my hands are on my hips to demonstrate to you that it's not moving. And on the exhale, I'm going to lift a leg into my chest. Inhale, pop it down. As I exhale, I'm going to lift. And as I inhale, I'm going to lower. Now, if you can get your leg into you more than me, that's fantastic. If you can get it less than me, I still think that's fantastic. If you're the same as me, twinsies. So we're just looking to float the thigh in. I'm not asking you to control this with muscles or your mind. Kind of soft foot. And just like that. Now from here, arms are down beside you. Breath in. Now on the exhale, you're going to pick your head off the surface just a little bit and take it down. Let's go again. On your exhale, lift your head, just your head. Pop it down. 2 more. This is a really important skill to have. Breath in, breath out. Ears lift higher than where they were. And inhale. Last time, I'm going to turn it into something else. Now, connect your arms, reach that way to the feet, and start to pull yourself up a bit. Take it away. This could be a huge discussion and workshop on head and neck placement. I don't want to go there right now. What I want to encourage is that your head is weightless because you're using your breath, and that you can ascend collarbones, rib cage, lowest ribs, waist. Breath in. As I exhale, I'm going to push my hands and feet down and lift my head up and build the muscles through the front of my neck and throat. Then my arms reach toward my feet and I do a mini chest lift. My neck is free and fine. That might be because I've spent years building the muscles in my neck and conditioning myself to it. So like I said, flip back to a previous video, lift and roll. Sequence, face, collarbone, rib cage, lower ribs. Take it down. If you're still with me and you want to continue, fantastic. If you want to continue but your neck is getting a little tired, which is natural, hands behind your head. Breath in and breath out. Head, collarbone, reach, 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 float, down. Float, keep breathing easily. Take it down. And exhale. Integrate it together. So it's not so separated. Inhale, exhale, move. I'm not even telling you not to move your pelvis. It can jiggle around a bit. I'd like it to be long rather than tucking, but that's my preference. That doesn't mean the exercise is less effective or less functional. Okay, just one more. Stay here, hands behind your head. I want you to push into your head and hands and lower. Okay, now I'm going to remove the ball and put my hands behind my head and look at a very simple, as in not complicated choreography, oblique twist. As I exhale, I pin my right elbow down and I track nose just on the outside of my knee and I lift up a little bit. Inhale, I come down. As I exhale, pin the left elbow down, rotate to the left, come up, nose just on the outside of the left knee. And as I'm not lifting high, it is a blend of rotation and a forward action. When you're coming up, as you exhale, you're not looking into your armpit. You're looking over the knee, over there. If it helps you, point to where you're going, just on the outside, on that angle. There are other ways to do oblique twists, but this is our beginner level focus. And as you gain your endurance, we can add some flavor and flair down the track. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Last one. Inhale down. Good. Now I need to check this. You take a breath. Okay, we're still here. I'm bringing my head cushion or support in. Check that the microphone is still working, correct? Okay, straight leg out on the floor. When you straighten your, in fact, let me get rid of this. When you straighten the leg, let's do this a few times. Can you check that as you straighten the leg, your back doesn't rock and arch? Remember that preliminary exercise with the ball under the pelvis? And we're kind of tilting back and forward. Well, now we keep it in that relative neutral, in between land. Inhale, slide away. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, pull back. And you note that my ribs and pelvis are still in conversation. They haven't left the room and gone away from each other. You bring it back in. These are called leg slides. They're great to work out how to do in your body without the flipping and flopping before you get onto a reformer and push away, or before you get into the springs and push away. So last time, and if you want a little bit more juice, add this to your chest lift. So you'd go exhale, roll, slide, keeping everything neutral, pull it in, and lie down. So now that we've worked out that we are able to slide the leg out on the table without arching the back, I want you to lift the leg up as high as you can without tilting, and then lower. Let's go again 5 times. As I exhale to lift, I'm also thoughtful that I don't drop into one of the hips more than the other. I try to stay level across. Exhale, reaching the leg up. Inhale, taking it down. Now what you might start to feel is your inner thigh muscles, your hip flexors, your abdominals. If you're someone who's not very flexible, you might also feel your calves and hamstrings getting a stretch, and you might find that that is what limits bringing that leg any higher. All things to observe. Last one, exhale, close into your center. Inhale, open away. Slide the leg back, change side. Exhale, lift the leg as high as practical within the framework. Inhale, lower, of not tilting. Exhale, lift the leg, and it comes up. And just there, I notice my pelvis tilt, so I fix that, and I return. Exhale, lift. Just trying to stay long and focused through my center, which is why I'm not turning to the camera a lot, so apologies if you miss my perfect visage, but I'm just trying to find that postural connection today. And the elevation of my head on this little cush gives me the option to connect into my breath and my abdomen. That might sound silly. Just have a look at my, again, astonishing handsomeness. See that angle of my head now? It's actually harder for me to not arch my back. So with this cushion, this is a little high, admittedly. It just gives me that instant connection to my center. And if in the studio you're on the reformer going upside down, or you're in the studio at any point, this can really assist that connection into your breath and abdomen. So it's always worth a try using little props like a ball or a towel. Okay, so we've done that. Let's look at a leg circle. This is the last one on our back for a while. So the leg goes out and it comes up. Keep it up there, and we're just going to draw a tiny circle. There are so many ways to do the leg circle in the Pilates method, and I've chosen this version just for today, just to distract you while we build your hip flexion endurance and encourage control and mindfulness in your movement. So as I'm circling my thigh 3 more times, I'm not circling my pelvis or my rib cage. And 1, bring it in. And there we are. Other side. leg slides out, leg lifts up. Now just breathe naturally. Doesn't matter which way you circle, and we're just drawing with the toe and the heel, 2 circles. So the toe's drawing a circle, the heel's drawing a circle, the size of an orange, trying not to move the pelvis, the rib cage, the other knee. And I'm just breathing in and out 3 more times. And I bend my knee in and I chill out for a little bit. Okay, so this is a beginner series. There'll be exercises where I explain in detail how to use your body. There'll be exercises where it's more about the movement or creating a relationship. And it's here to give you the time to take the time. So that's why we're not doing a lot of reps, we're not doing lots of variations. This is a slow pace so that you can get to know your own body and to help build the confidence for the more integrated classes. We're going to lie face down. The audio might get a bit muffled. I will do my best. And we're looking for what I call diamond press. And then we're going to add a leg lift. Just before we go into diamond press, let's think about your pelvic mobility or your pelvic positions as to before when you were on that chi ball. Now, just for the classical Pilates purists out there, I know I'm at the wrong end of the mat, but I'm filming something, so I'm up here. You be where you want to be. So the pelvis, that block of bones between my belly button and my knees, is articulate and can swing and can move. And depending on if you're how you look at it, the pelvis swings on the joints below, or pelvis swings on the joints above, being the low back or the long thigh bone. In this position, I'm going to put my head down. I want you to just try rocking your pelvis both ways, building that comfort and tolerance. Don't break anything, just easy peasy. Just like that. Now I'm going to put my face down, and this is called baby butt. It's an exercise from Kathy Sanford Grant, one of the first generation teachers of the method. And you think of this little bit here under my underwear line, kind of poking up and then bringing it down. Now, not to the point that this is uncomfortable, but I want you to poke your lower back up and then bringing it in. And when you bring it in, I'm thinking of the front of my hips coming up the mat, as well as my tailbone going down to the feet. So it's a 2-sided action. 3 more times. The butt winks, and the pelvis gets long. And the reason why I'm asking you to think of it as 2-sided, front and back, is so that you don't end up like gripping your butt cheeks and tilting and tugging. So it should be balanced. I don't know if you've noticed, but my feet are off the back edge of the mat. It's because I have a bit of an issue with an ankle of mine. And some clients feel that when they're face down or prone, that if they're on the mat, they're more likely to cramp in their feet. So if that's you, hang off the back of your mat or put a cushion under your shins just to let your feet soften and relax and not distract you from the task at hand. Diamond press, where we're keeping the pelvis still and lifting your upper back. This is as much for stabilizing your shoulder blades, so these triangular bones here which anchor and control our shoulder, as it is for mobilizing the joints that run between the throat and the base of the rib cage. Okay, hands are in your diamond shape, arms are also in a diamond, forehead down, and head comes up to the level of your spine, and then you roll through your upper back. At this height, this exercise, keep your eye line forward and down. And then roll down the way you came. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift the head to the level. And then rolling up. If you wanted, think of your eyes as paintbrushes and draw an arc at the top. Lift up a little higher with your eyes leading the way. Paintbrush for eyes down And then roll down through your torso. And going slowly, lifting up, head to level. Keep the head in check, rolling through your upper back. Paintbrush for eyes, get a stretch. Bring it in and roll it down. 3 more. Exhale, head to the level. Roll through your upper back. Think of the armpits working the muscles down towards your waist. Paintbrush for eyes. Paintbrush for eyes down. Roll down. Big breath in. Exhale, lift the head to the level of the spine. Roll up through your joints in the back, lifting up. Now I'm keeping these muscles engaged. I'm looking up higher. I'm looking back down. And I roll down. Now this is the last one coming up. Breath in. Head comes up to the level. Roll through my spine and keep my head still here. And I'm going to lift one leg without rocking my pelvis. And lower. And lift. Building that glute and hamstring endurance and awareness and rolling down. 5 more, just like this. Exhale, lift up. You know what you're doing now. You don't need me to tell you. Left leg comes up first. And I'm trying not to rock. Inhale down. How are you doing? Lift. And lower. And roll down. And let's come up again on the exhale. And take your mind back to that baby butt exercise. As you lift the right thigh, you got to keep your pelvis still, not allowing it to come up with your foot. Lower the leg. Pelvis stays grounded. I stay long. And roll down. And exhale. Long. Think of getting taller on the mat without arching your lower back like I did. Coming up. Left leg. Long through the pelvis. Right leg. Long and heavy in the pelvis, not moving left and right. Rolling down. And again, lifting up from this prone position. Prone means lying on your tummy. Supine means lying on your back. And unfortunately, we're starting to hear more of those words in medical care because of COVID. So being prone is lying face down for medical care. Lying supine, being propped up with cushions beside you and being served cocktails is where I'd rather be. And lie down. That's all we need. So from here, pop back onto all fours and sit back and relax. Just take 3 deep breaths into the kind of perimeter of your torso. So as you breathe in, inflating front, back, left, right, and on diagonals. And breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Now try and hold that space as you exhale until the last minute, and then let it all shout. Okay. Let's come up out of there. I'm going to check my list. Good to know. Great. Okay, onto all fours. Bring my little microphone with me. And you remember chest opener that we did before? We're going to look at that again, but as thread a needle. Now, I'm just moving my hips around because I enjoy it, but actually that's part of this exercise. So as per chest opener, just come up for a second, don't ruin your wrists. Chest opener, before I made you do that version where we went arm lifts and then body twists, because we often get so excited about twisting that we muddle things together. And here I am to be the fun police. Now, what I want you to think of first in mitigating your fun and excitement is we're actually just going to move the pelvis from side to side. Oh, and if you're active and exercisey, or if you're grumpy and sedentary, you'll probably feel a stretch through your hip. And you know which camp you belong to, today at least. And as I'm moving side to side, I'm doing it on purpose. And I feel I'm sensitive to the shift in my kneecaps, my patellae. And then I can feel my giant ass shifting from side to side. It's all on purpose, right? Okay, now what I want you to think of from here is baby butt. Remember that exercise, that pelvis winking back and forward before the diamond press? This is a reverse of cat stretch. Okay, so here we are. It's a neutral now, no more baby butt. I'm going to keep that neutral line. I'm going to lift my arm to the side, hold for 3, and bring it back down. Now, when you take the arm out to the side, now this is like the nun's approach to kneeling. So, oh gosh, that could have been something else. So I appreciate this is very, very restrictive, but when you take the left arm off, or any arm, no movement in opposition. So what I'm trying to develop here for you is these sling relationships across the body like a holster, so that you have support to do whatever we ask you to do with the limb. And most importantly, that you're supported in your trunk, other side. See how I've made my hand like a frog? Get those little suction cups down, press it down. Try not to sink into your wrist. Tip the weight forward, holding still. And now from here, arm goes out to the side. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, twist up to the side. Bring it in and place it down. Now go more technical, arm out to the left. As I turn to the left, it's my rib cage going twist, 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 and back into neutral. So on the right, not much happens, huh? And then if I want to garnish, I can go. But do your best not to arch your back and look like this. So long through the neck. Look at those orchids, aren't they sensational? Oh, I love flowers. Breathe. Oh, I love nature. I hate to be this person, but it's not as satisfying looking at bark as it is as a beautiful bloom, huh? Although, isn't bark amazing? Okay, I'll stop talking. Bark's so crazy to me. Isn't this fun? Just a small twist. You should almost feel like this is more work than a stretch, because I'm trying to keep you on top of, are you moving your pelvis from side to side? Are you working that strength under the armpit? Are you letting your head move around? And if you're someone who struggles with aches and pains, often it's because the way you move isn't as efficient as it could be. And it might seem quite restrictive, kind of bringing everything back into this format, but this can also really be helpful. So I hope you see the pursuit that we're going on together. Okay, stepping back. So from here, let's just get a little bit more control through the shoulder, slumping down and pulling back. Now, I explain these in a lot of the other videos. They're called shoulder drops, and we're trying to connect the serratus anterior at the front of the rib cage and around here with the muscles that support your shoulder blades, so that you're not kind of hanging in your joints, as we say in the biz. But what I'd like you to do from those shrugs is then step back into a plank and try a shrug and pull it in. And let's try again. Leg, leg, shrug, shrug, down, down. Now you keep going. Leg, leg, shrug, shrug, leg, leg. When you're shrugging, you're not shrugging shoulder to earlobe. You're shrugging arm forward, body back. Body forward, arm back. Well, let's go together. Take a breath in and out. Shrug. Shoulder blades back, body forward. Reverse. Body pulls up. Step, step. Just one more round. Change leg. Leg. Shrug. Shrug. Leg. Leg. So the final part in this beginner sequence is just some standing integrations. We're going to do a standing roll down, a standing twist, and cut it. Roll down, a side bend, and a lunge. Alrighty, so we've finished in some of the basic positions: supine on your back, prone on your stomach, or tummy rather. Stop, it's ridiculous. Okay, so we're winding up in the beginner sequence, and we've looked at lying on your back, lying on your front, being on all fours, and now we're up to standing. We're looking at just a few exercises here actually. So we're standing roll down, a side bend, a side lunge, and then we'll probably finish with a nice arm circle. Okay, standing roll down. Easy exercise, hard to do properly. I'm not going to restrict you too much in your movement. What I want you to do is think of it as a standing sit-up, but without the abdominal burn. So just let your head relax with gravity and roll down segment by segment, which means head, shoulders, waist, ribs. Take a breath and then rolling up. Pelvis first, waist, ribs, shoulder, head. Side on, you keep going. Take your exhale, let the body drain and get to look at those monster poppies. And hopefully you see in the subsequent days more flower, less furry green skin. And then rolling up, ribs, shoulders, head. And again, let the head just relax, don't control it. And letting the body weight drop down. Inhale, hold. I'm going to let my knees bend a bit. And exhale, rolling up, soft knees. One more, please. As you exhale, you're thinking of the weight drop. So rather than thinking, I've got to touch my toes, I'm just letting the top half of my body really fold and hang, because usually it has to stand upright. Now, while we're here, separate your legs wider, hands one on top of the other, and I want you to go back to primary school to play tunnel ball in your PE class. And I want you to press your arms through your legs and let your body weight tip forward and then come up. If this is uncomfortable for you, please sit down and take a moment. Otherwise, exhale, roll through. And again, this is about the weight transfer. So my arms go backward so that my head can come forward. Just one last one, please. And then I'm just going to make my way up, I'm going to bend my knees and step together. Now, speaking of stepping together, take my legs fairly wide, not in a full split. And then we're just going to start with hands on the side of your hips, on the thigh, sorry. Hips press forward. Inhale, gently bend to the side. Come up. So your hand wanders down, incy-wincy spider style, down the leg. This is all I want for now. And I'm just kind of opening all the muscles that get bogged down with adult life. All those bloody chores and responsibilities and putting the bins out and cleaning the filter of your dishwasher. Did you ever know you had a tight waist when you were a kid? No. Anywho, I didn't. Last round. So just breathing in as you go to the side, opening up the gills of the fish. You're the fish. Did you know that my surname in Greek means fish? Isn't that great? Okay, now turn your legs out a little bit so they're more on a V angle. And I just simply want a knee bend. So no Jane Fonda complete workout just yet. Got my hands on my hips. And as I bend the knee, I'm trying to not baby butt or arch my lower back backwards, side to side. So this beginner sequence, I'm going to divide up into the parts we worked on. And I encourage you to do them regularly. If you're short on time, could you do it a couple of times a week? Build tolerance in your tissues, and then as you start to feel more kind of technically aware of what's going on, progress to the other videos on the platform, side to side. This is a great way to supplement your studio sessions. It's nice also to be led through something and not have to think about your exercise. And for those of us who are running families and businesses and our own lives, having something physical to connect with in a mindful way is really special and a great way to come out of the other aspects of your mind. Okay, toes come in, heels come in, toes come in, heels come in, toes come in. Kneel down, 1 foot forward, 1 leg back. And I just want you to, any which way, lunge. And then come back, straightening your front leg. And stretch through, and coming back. And stretch, and come back. And for those of you who enjoy movies about dance and theatre, this is reminding me of the epic scene in the 70s ballet movie, The Turning Point. Shirley MacLaine and Anne Bancroft, how could I forget? Fictionalized American ballet theatre. And there's this scene where, change legs, Amelia the ingenue is drunk because she's rebelling against the form of ballet and how strict it is, and she wants to have a life. And there's this funny scene where everyone's doing this in tutus in a balletic way, and she's doing the opposite. So when they're down, she's up, and she's very camp because she's drunk on life. And anyway, so just opening the front of the hip and then pulling away. And learning how to use your body is really about having a sense of your weight management, where to put your center of gravity and how to respond when it moves quickly. And that's why Pilates is great, because it's like a manual to your own body. We used to call it an insurance policy for when things go wrong, but I like to think of it as maximizing efficiency. Anyway, have a lovely day. Have a glass of water, have a cup of coffee, have some tequila, do what you enjoy. See you soon.